Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're going to continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 6. We are hearing what Sutta Goswami has been telling to the sages of Naimisharanya, because they asked him the question, what is the ultimate welfare for everyone? And we are hearing from him now how the creation happened, because he said, speaking the glories of the Lord, engaging in devotional service is the best welfare activity. And so we had been reading now how the creation is happening. Sa eva prathamam deva.
Sa eva pratamam deva
Eva
Kaumaram sargam ashritaha.
Kaumaram
sargam
sargam
ashritaha
ashritaha
Chachara dushcharam brahma.
Chachara dushcharam brahma
chara dushcharam brahma
Brahmacharyam akhanditam.
brahmacharyam
Brahmacharyam
akhanditam.
akhanditam.
Translation. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth. Purport. The creation of the material world is effected, maintained, and then again annihilated at certain intervals. So there are different names of the creations in terms of the particular types of Brahma, the father of the living beings in the creation. The Kumaras, as above mentioned, appeared in the Kaumara creation of the material world and to teach us the process of Brahman realization. They underwent a severe type of disciplinary action as bachelors. These Kumaras are empowered incarnations. And before executing the severe type of disciplinary actions, all of them became qualified Brahmanas. This example suggests that one must first acquire the qualifications of a Brahmana, not simply by birth, but also by quality, and then one can undergo the process of Brahman realization.
So do you all remember what we just read the last 2 days? What does Mahavishnu do? We'll just have a recap.
Mahavishnu
Mahavishnu.
glances at the material, and then from him comes all the universes from his pores. When he inhale and exhale, the pores come out. When he
The
inhales,
universes come out.
the universes come out.
And when he inhales, everything goes back in his body.
Yeah.
Right? When he exhales, all the
Yeah.
universes come out. So the creation happens. When he
Yes.
inhales, then all the universes go back in. So then when he's exhaling, all the universes are there. And then, so he created the Mahatattva, he created the universe. Then what does he do? Then what happens?
And then he glances, and then all the materials are there, the 11, 5 gross material, and then everything happens. And then the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he enters into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu.
Yeah,
And
then?
from Garbhodakshay Vishnu's navel, navel comes out a stem, and on the top of that lotus, there is Brahmaji, and he does the creation for that material world, for that universe. And then, as Shirodakshay Vishnu, he enters each atom in the universe.
Yes.
Each atom, each living being, everything.
Yeah. And so, who is the Shirodakshay Vishnu? He's the
Shiro's a
Paramatma.
Paramatma.
Yeah. He's the Paramatma in everyone's heart.
Yeah.
And where are all the incarnations which come within the universe? They come from
Shirodakshay Vishnu.
Yeah. So all the incarnations. And all the incarnations who are coming within the universe, their bodies are not material.
Material.
They are transcendental. So because we may think, oh, I'm inside this material creation and I have a material body. So even when God or his incarnation is coming, his body is material. But no, just like a prisoner, in the prison, the prisoner has to wear prisoner uniform. The king doesn't have to wear prisoner uniform. He comes in his own clothes. Yeah. So then now we are hearing, okay, Garbhodaksha Vishnu created Brahma. The creation has to happen. So the first sons of Brahma are the four Kumaras. Those are the very first sons. And then they appear as small children. They are actually the oldest, but they still look like children, 4, 5 years old. Because of their purity, because of their penances, their austerities. They are great. They are Shakti avatar. Yesterday we read they are empowered incarnations. So they are the Shakti avatar. Okay. So then reading on, text 7. Vityam tu bhavyasya
Vittiyam tu bhavasya
Asya.
rasatalagatam mahim
rasatalagatam
udarishyan upadata
udarishyan upadatta
yagyesha saukaram vapuhu.
yagisha saukaram vapuh.
Translation. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a boar, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe. Purport. The indication is that for each and every incarnation or personality of Godhead, the particular function executed is also mentioned. There cannot be any incarnation without a particular function, and such functions are always extraordinary. They are impossible for any living being to perform. The incarnation of the boar was to take the earth out of Pluto's region of filthy matter. Picking up something from a filthy place is done by a boar, and the all-powerful personality of Godhead displayed this wonder to the Asuras, who had hidden the earth in such a filthy place. There is nothing impossible for the personality of Godhead, and although he played the part of a boar, by the devotees he is worshipped, staying always in transcendence.
So in the previous verse, of course, it was mentioned that the creation happens and then again the annihilation happens, when Mahavishnu breathes out creation, when he inhales annihilation. So each creation has its own different name. There may be certain, slight differences in each creation. So the name of the creation will depend upon the Lord Brahma at that time. Lord Brahma is a post, like how there is a president or a prime minister of the country, and different citizens can be voted into that position. So Lord Brahma is also a living entity, individual soul, very qualified, and he gets empowered by Krishna to occupy this post. So now here, which incarnation is Suta Goswami speaking about? Does anyone know?
The Sukar, the one who took out because when Hiranyakashipu has dropped the earth into at the bottom, it fell. The Garbha,
Into the
yeah, the
Garbha.
Garbha, yeah, and then Lord came as the Vaman avatar, like not Vaman, sorry, it is the Varaha avatar.
Yeah.
So he came as a Varaha avatar, and then on his tusk he lifted the Mother Earth.
Thank you. So Hiranyaksha, the elder brother of Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah, Hiranyaksha. Yeah.
Hiranyaksha.
Yeah.
Well, elder or younger, I'm not very sure now. But anyway,
I think he was
Hiranyaksha.
yeah.
And then he put in the he hid the earth in the Garbha ocean, and then the Lord lifted. So then, now the Lord has come in the form of a boar, Varahadev. So what do we say about his body, his form? Is it like an ordinary material pig, a boar that we see in this material world? Is this form like that?
No,
No, it's transcendental.
no,
Yes, yes, thank you.
no, it's trans.
Yes, yes. Then no matter what form the Lord comes in, it's always transcendental. We cannot say, and that's why he's worshipped. He's in the form of a boar, and yet we are worshipping him because he's always God, he's always transcendental. And an important point that gets mentioned here, that yesterday we read that the incarnations who come, they have to be mentioned in the scriptures, in the revealed scriptures. The incarnations are always mentioned. So even Lord Varahadev is mentioned, that Lord Varahadev is going to come, he's going to do this activity. And then always what he's going to do, what's his agenda. Like we also make an agenda when we have to go somewhere, we are going to do this, we are going to do that. So the revealed scriptures already mention what is the Lord going to do, what's his agenda when he comes. So when he came as Varahadev, he needed to pick up the earth from the Garbha ocean. Reading on. Trityam Rishi Sargam Vai.
Krityam Rishi Sargam Dve.
Devarshitvam Upetya Saha.
Devarishitam upetya saha.
Tantram Satvatam Achashta.
Tantram satvatam
Achas.
achashtaha.
Neshkarmyam Karmana Vyataha.
Neshkarmayam karmanam yataha.
Translation. In the millennium of the Rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narad, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Purport. The great Rishi Narad, who is an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead, propagates devotional service all over the universe. All great devotees of the Lord, all over the universe and in different planets and species of life, are his disciples. Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is also one of his disciples. Narad is the author of Narad Pancharatra, which is the exposition of the Vedas, particularly for the devotional service of the Lord. This Narad Pancharatra trains the karmis or the fruitive workers to achieve liberation from the bondage of fruitive work. The conditioned souls are mostly attracted by fruitive work because they want to enjoy life by the sweat of their own brows. The whole universe is full of fruitive workers in all species of life. The fruitive works include all kinds of economic development plans. But the law of nature provides that every action has its resultant reaction, and the performer of the work is bound up by such reactions, good or bad. The reaction of good work is comparative material prosperity, whereas the reaction of bad work is comparative material distress. But material conditions, either in so-called happiness or in so-called distress, are all meant ultimately for distress only. Foolish materialists have no information of how to obtain eternal happiness in the unconditional state. Sri Narad informs these foolish fruitive workers how to realize the reality of happiness. He gives direction to the diseased men of the world how one's present engagement can lead one to the path of spiritual emancipation. The physician directs the patient to take treated milk in the form of curd for his sufferings from indigestion due to his taking another milk preparation. So the cause of the disease and the remedy of the disease may be the same, but it must be treated by an expert physician like Narad. The Bhagavad Gita also gives the same solution of serving the Lord by the fruits of one's labor. That will lead one to the path of Naishkarmya or liberation.
So then Sutta Goswami goes on to say that Narad is born. No? Narad is the third son of Brahma. Yeah, the first are the four Kumaras, then Rudra, and then comes Narad. So, Narad Muni, what does he do?
He liberates the people and give them bhakti.
Yeah, he gives them bhakti all over the universe. And who is he? He's a
Empowered
Shaktiya
guide.
Veshavtar.
Shaktya Veshavadar. Yeah, he's empowered especially by Krishna to do this work of giving bhakti, giving devotional service to everyone. So does anyone remember a few of the disciples of Narad Muni?
Prahlad Maharaj,
Prahlad.
Dhruv Maharaj,
Yeah,
and
Prahlad, Dhruv.
our own, and the Vyasadev, Srila Vyasadev.
Yeah, that's right, Srila Vyasadeva. Yeah, such great personalities, and they're all disciples of Narad Muni. So we can see that Narad Muni is such a great personality. And
I'm
what has he
remembering
written?
even the Prachetas, we read about them because we read about them. The Prachetas.
Prachetas. The Prachetas.
They were the
Yeah, the
disciple or no?
Prachetas. They heard from Narad Muni. They also heard from Lord Shiva, right?
Yeah,
Both, right?
both, but also Narad Muni. So will he
Yeah,
will
that's
be
Devi
right.
Sati, Devi Sati also is his disciple, right? Narad Muni.
I'm not sure of that. In the fourth canto, we read about Sati,
Yes.
but I'm
Even
not
Daksha,
sure.
her father Daksha is Narad Muni's. Is Brahma's son, right?
Yeah, Daksha is
Priyavrat.
Brahma's son. Yeah, Daksha is Brahma's son. He's one of the
Correct.
Prajapatis. We read about him. Yeah. So Narad Muni, even this one, Priyavrat, yes, that's right, Priyavrat.
Yeah,
So we can see how such great personalities are disciples of Narad Muni. So he's really a very great personality. And what has he written? What
Narad
scripture has he written?
Narad Pancharatra.
Yeah,
Narad Pancharatra.
Narad Pancharatra, that's one. And what is the function of this Pancharatra?
It has
Yes,
that
for devotional
how we
service.
should do the like for to how the karmis can get delivered, like how they can get out of this material world.
Yeah. So how we can get liberation from this bondage, right? Because we are all working in a way. We all work because we want to enjoy the fruits of our work. I'm going to do this because I'm going to get this, because I'm going to enjoy like this. This is what always we are thinking if we analyze why we do this. I'm going to do this because I'm going to get this, and this is how I will enjoy. We're always waiting for the fruits. So some fruits may be good, some may be bad. But even the good fruits, the good results are going to make us keep us here in the material world. So, because we may think, oh, well, good fruits, I'll be happy, but it's still going to keep us in the material world where our happiness is very temporary. It's very, very tiny. It's compared to like a drop of happiness, a drop of water in the desert. Whereas Narad Muni wants to bring us all out of this material world. He wants us to experience unlimited happiness, unlimited bliss, because on the spiritual world is unlimited bliss. So Prabhupada is saying that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving the same thing, how to serve Lord by the fruits of our action, because we cannot stop acting. Like he's telling Arjuna also, you fight. Arjuna said, I won't fight. No, you fight, but you fight for my pleasure. So we do our activities for the pleasure of Krishna. then that becomes neshkarmya. We don't get karma for it, becomes akarma. So a gradual raising of our consciousness. Turye dharma kala sarge.
Turye dharma kala sarge.
Nara narayana vrishi.
Nare narayana vrishi.
Bhutva mopashamopetam.
Bhutva mopetam.
Akarot duscharam tapaha.
Akarot duscharam tapaha.
Translation. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayana, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus, he undertook severe and extreme exemplary penances to control the senses. Purport. As King Rishabh advised his sons, tapasya or voluntary acceptance of penance for realization of the transcendence is the only duty of the human being. It was so done by the Lord himself in an exemplary manner to teach us. The Lord is very kind to the forgetful souls. He therefore comes himself and leaves behind necessary instructions and also sends his good sons as representatives to call all the conditioned souls back to Godhead. Recently, within the memory of everyone, Lord Caitanya also appeared for the same purpose. To show special favor to fallen souls of this age of iron industry. The incarnation of Narayan is worshipped still at Badri Narayana on the range of the Himalayas.
So here Sutta Goswami speaking about the Narayan Rishi, also an incarnation of the Supreme Lord. They are doing austerities in Badrikashram. We heard that Lord Kapila, is it that he went? No, not Lord Kapila. No, Lord Kapila went to Kapila Sagar, right? Anyway, many great personalities go to Badrikashram to do their austerities there. Austerity, here Prabhupada is saying, even Lord Rishabdev, he advised his sons to do austerities. He himself did austerities. He tells us to do austerities. Austerities should be done in relation to Krishna, in relation to God, because unnecessary austerity will. Hare Krishna. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was cut off.
Yeah,
Are you all able
Saying
to-
about Lord Kapila, and then we didn't hear you.
Okay, so here Prabhupada is saying that Lord Rishabdev, he also advised his son to do austerities. We have been reading all these great kings, how they are doing austerities, penances, but all for getting devotional service. Like Hiranyakashipu also did austerity, but he wanted material benefit, so he got very proud, and in the end it led to his destruction. But we have been reading how all these righteous kings, they were doing austerities to get devotional service, and how they all going back home, back to Godhead, you know. So austerity for the sake of devotional service, that is what is needed. So Prabhupada is here mentioning, of course, Lord Caitanya. To Lord Caitanya, he's the Yuga avatar. He's the Channa avatar, actually. He came to inaugurate the dharma of this age, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So whenever God comes himself or his incarnations, it's to give us this message that come back home. You're not the body. You are my part and parcel. You have a relationship with me. Come back home and have eternal life with me. Enjoy life with me. That's the purpose of all the incarnations. Panchama Kapilo Nama.
Panchama Kapilo Nama.
Siddhesha Kala Viplutam.
Siddesha Kala Viplutam
Provacha Suraye Shankyam
Provacha
Suraye
Sankyam
Tattva Grama Vinirnayam.
Tattva Grama Vinayam.
Anyone wants to continue reading?
Oh, I can read.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. The fifth incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana. In course of time, this knowledge had been lost. The sum total of the creative elements is 24 in all. Each and every one of them is explicitly explained in the system of Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya philosophy is generally called metaphysics by the European scholars. The etymological meaning of Sankhya is that which explains very lucidly by analysis of the material elements. This was done for the first time by Lord Kapila, who is said herein to be the fifth in the line of incarnations.
So, what philosophy did Lord Kapila teach?
Sankhya.
Sankhya. And what was the Sankhya philosophy? How he divided the, like, well, not divided, but analyzed the material world in how many elements?
24 elements.
Yeah, do you remember what are like kind of the group of the elements?
5 gross elements.
Yeah,
Then 5 working elements, senses. Is it it?
yeah, yes,
And
5
that's right.
gross,
5 gyan,
3
knowledge.
subtle,
Yeah,
And then
Indriya,
3
yeah,
subtle. Yeah, 3
three
subtle.
subtle.
5
Yeah,
working, and 5 acquiring, and
yeah,
mind and
yeah.
objects of the senses.
Objects of the senses. That's right. Yeah. So it comes all in 24
20.
elements and the Mahatattva. Yeah. So it was Lord Kapila who said, you know, this world that we are so attached to, so attracted to, if you break it down, it's just these elements. We are so attached to this material world. We have so much desire to enjoy this material world, but it's all this is what it is. And then, of course, he goes on to give his mother transcendental knowledge, and he tells her, get attached to Krishna by getting, and then what's the process? Get attached to the devotee. By being attached to the devotee of Krishna, one can get attached to Krishna. Engage in devotional service, he told her. So Sankhya philosophy is also teaching devotional service.
Devotional service.
Yeah, devotional service. So first he broke down what all this material world is, and then he tells her, now this is what you're attached to. Now you transfer this attachment, material attachment, to spiritual. Get attached to Krishna by getting attached to the devotee, by following the instructions of the devotees. Shastam atre apatyatvam.
Shrashtam atre apatyatvam.
Vrita prapto nyasuyaya.
Vritah prapto
Prapto
anusuyaya.
anasuyaya.
Anvikshikim alarkaya.
Anvikshikim
Anvikshikim
alarkaya.
alarkaya.
Prahaladadibhya uchivan.
Prahaladadibhya
Prahaladadibhya
ujivan.
ujivan. Translation. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anusuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the object of transcendence to Alarka, Pralad, and others, Yadu, Haihaya, etc. The Lord incarnated himself as Dattatreya, the son of Rishi Atri and Anusuya. The history of the birth of Dattatreya is an incarnation of the Lord is mentioned in the Brahmanda Puran in connection with the story of the devoted wife. It is said there that Ansuya, the wife of Rishi Atri, prayed before the Lords Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva as follows: My Lord, if you are pleased with me and if you desire me to ask from you some sort of blessings, then I pray that you combine together to become my son. This was accepted by the Lords, and Dattatreya, the Lord, expounded the philosophy of the spirit soul and especially instructed Alarka, Pralad, Yadu, Haya, etc.
So then Sutta Goswami is mentioning of Dattatreya, whose activities are mentioned in the Brahmanda Purana, birth of Dattatreya. Okay, and then his parents, Anasuya and Atri, and Anasuya prayed to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. She wanted all of them to become her sons, so they all combined. And they came as Dattatreya. Okay, expounded the philosophy of the spirit soul. Tata Saptama Akutyam.
Tata Saptama Akutyam
Yeah.
Ruche Yagyo Jayata.
Ruche Yagyo Abhaya Jayata
Sa Yama Sura Ganer.
Sayamade Suragane
Apat Swayam Bhuvantaram.
Apat Swayam Bhuvantaram. The seventh incarnation was Yagya, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of the Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama. The administrative posts occupied by the demigods for maintaining the regulations of the material world are offered to the highly elevated pious living beings. When there is a scarcity of such pious living beings, the Lord incarnates himself as Brahma, Prajapati, Indra, etc., and takes up the charge. During the period of Swayam Bhuva Manu, the present period is of Vaisvata Manu. There was no suitable living being who could occupy the post of Indra, the king of the Indralok, heaven, planet. The Lord himself at that time became Indra, assisted by his own sons like Yama and other demigods. Lord Yagya ruled the administration of the universal affairs.
So the demigods, what is here being said? Who are the demigods?
The Indra, the Prajapatis, they are the demigods.
Okay, and they are, is it a post or is it a person? Can anyone become Indra?
No. Yes, anyone can become Indra. It's a post.
Yes, that's right. Any qualified, highly elevated, pious living being can become Indra because it's a post. Just like we are hearing that there was no suitable person to become Indra, so Lord Krishna incarnated as Yagya to become Indra. So even Lord Brahma, we just heard that when there is no suitable living entity to take up the post of Brahma, the Lord incarnates to become Brahma. So is being God a post? Can anyone become God?
No.
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 No. Yes.
God is
Thank you.
absolute. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference. Any highly qualified, highly pious living being can become a demigod, can occupy the post, because that's a post. Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, Lord Chandra, but being God is not a post. Nobody can become God. So we can understand the demigod's position as, in school. I don't know if you remember, or like in school, there were certain students who were chosen to be the prefects or the captains or the leaders because they had, they were excelling in school and excelling in other things. So the principal of the school would authorize certain students to become like the prefects, like leaders of the other students, no?
Yes.
So it's something like that the demigods are also individual souls. We are also individual souls, but they are qualified. So they are appointed in this post by the Lord, by Lord Krishna. So Ashtame Meru Devyam Tu
Ashtame Meru Devyam Tu
Nabhir Jata Urukramaha
Nabhe Jata
Maha.
Urukramaha
Darshayan Vartma Dhiranam
Darshayan
Darshayan
Vatsmadhiranam
Vadmadhiranam
Sarvashrama Namaskritam.
Sarva Ashram
Sarvashram
Namaskritam.
Namaskrityam. Translation. The eighth incarnation was King Rishabh, son of King Nabi, and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life. Purport. The society of human beings is naturally divided into 8 by orders and statuses of life, the 4 divisions of occupation and 4 divisions of cultural advancement. The intelligent class, the administrative class, the productive class, and the laborer class are the 4 divisions of occupations. And the student life, the householder's life, retired life, and renounced life are the 4 statuses of cultural advancement towards the path of spiritual realization. Out of these, the renounced order of life, or the order of sannyas, is considered the highest of all, and a sannyasi is constitutionally the spiritual master for all the orders and divisions. In the sannyas order, also, there are 4 stages of upliftment toward perfection. These stages are called Kuti Chaka, Bahuda, Parivrajacharya, and Paramahams. The Paramahams stage of life is the highest stage of perfection. This order of life is respected by all others. Maharaj Rishabh, the son of King Nabi and Meru Devi, was an incarnation of the Lord, and he instructed his sons to follow the path of perfection by tapasya, which sanctifies one's existence and enables one to attain the stage of spiritual happiness, which is eternal and ever increasing. Every living being is searching after happiness, but no one knows where eternal and unlimited happiness is obtainable. Foolish men seek after material sense pleasure as a substitute for real happiness. But such foolish men forget that temporary so called happiness derived from sense pleasure is also enjoyed by the dogs and hogs. No animal, bird, or beast is bereft of this sense pleasure. In every species of life, including the human form of life, such happiness is immensely obtainable. The human form of life, however, is not meant for such cheap happiness. The human life is meant for attaining eternal and unlimited happiness by spiritual realization. This spiritual realization is obtained by tapasya, or undergoing voluntarily the path of penance and abstinence from material pleasure. Those who have been trained for abstinence in material pleasures are called dhir, or men undisturbed by the senses. Only these dhiras can accept the orders of sannyas, and they can gradually rise to the status of the Paramahamsa, which is adored by all members of society. King Rishabh propagated this mission, and at the last stage, he became completely aloof from the material bodily needs, which is a rare stage not to be imitated by foolish men, but to be worshipped by all. We had
Thanks
read
for the
about
close
this,
up.
right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I just
Yeah.
recently read about Lord Rishabdev, about the Varna Sharma society and the duty of the sannyasi. So, what are the 4 stages of sannyas that are mentioned here?
Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivrajakatarya, and Paramahams.
Yeah, and the highest of all these 4 is the
Paramahams.
Yeah, so Maharaj Rishabdev is a Paramhams. Of course, he's incarnation of the Lord, but he showed his activities that he was a Paramhams, and then he's instructed his sons to engage in austerities, tapasya, to experience spiritual happiness. So, spiritual happiness. What's the difference between spiritual happiness and material happiness? What are the differences?
Spiritual happiness is permanent, eternal,
Mhm. Yes,
and material happiness is temporary.
yes, that's right. It's temporary. So,
And
so spiritual happiness is eternal, material happiness is temporary. And is spiritual
material
happiness, huh?
sorry, and material happiness is dependent on multiple factors, and spiritual happiness is independent. It is not dependent on
Infinite.
multiple factors.
Yes, infinite happiness. That's right. That's right. And also material happiness, we are seeing, is it unlimited material happiness? As you said, it's based on external factors. So is it like unlimited?
No,
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 no, it's
it's
not
very
unlimited.
limited,
Temporary.
very limited,
Anytime.
right? Very tiny. And what about the spiritual happiness?
it's unlimited.
Unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah. So we all want to be happy. You know, we are doing things because we want to be happy. But we are finding this happiness in the material world, on the material platform. But the happiness we experience is temporary, it is very less, it's very related to other things, very dependent on others. But actually, we are seeking, because we are spirit souls, we are seeking eternal happiness, unlimited happiness. So that's only on the spiritual platform. So we need to raise ourselves to the spiritual platform. So we need to engage in devotional service. Devotional service is the activity of the soul, it's a spiritual activity. So maybe we can read one more. Rishibir yachito bheje
Rishibir yachito beje
navamam parthivam vapuhu
navamam parthivam vapu
dugdhe mam oshadhir vipras
dugde mam oshadhir vipras
tenayam sa ushatamaha.
tena yamsa ushatama. O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord prayed for by sages accepted the body of King Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produce, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive. Before the advent of King Prithu, there was great havoc of maladministration due to the vicious life of the previous king, the father of Maharaj Prithu. The intelligent class of men, namely the sages and the Brahmanas, not only prayed for the Lord to come down, but also dethroned the previous king. It is the duty of the king to be pious and thus look after the all around welfare of the citizens. Whenever there is some negligence on the part of king in discharging his duty, the intelligent class of men must dethrone him. The intelligent class of men, however, do not occupy the royal throne because they have much more important duties for the welfare of the public. Instead of occupying the royal throne, they prayed for the incarnation of the and the Lord came as Maharaj Prithu. Real, intelligent men of qualified brahmanas never aspire for political posts. Maharaj Prithu excavated many produces from the earth, and thus not only did the citizens become happy to have such a good king, but the complete sight of the earth also became beautiful and attractive.
So does anyone remember who was the father of Maharaj Prithu?
Vena, King
Yeah,
Vena.
Yeah,
King Vena.
yeah,
Vena.
Vena. That's right. And then who killed him?
The
The
rishis,
sage
all the
rishis,
rishis, the
sages.
sages, the
Yeah,
rishis, yeah.
yeah. The sages, rishis. Then why they did not become the king? Why they prayed, oh Lord, you come as incarnation to become the king. Why the sages, rishis, they don't become king or administrators?
Because it's not their job to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they are doing more important things. They are studying the scriptures, teaching the scriptures, worshipping the deity, teaching how to worship the deity, for the welfare of everyone. They are they are teaching the spiritual knowledge. Yeah. They don't want to get involved with the administration and power. They give advice to the king, yes, but they personally they are engaged in cultivating spiritual knowledge. Okay. Rupam
And
sa jagre. Yes.
sorry, yeah. So Prithu also is empowered, right? Incarnation, Satyavi.
Yes. Shaktiavesh. That's right. Yeah. Rupam sa jagre matsyam.
Rupam sa
Chakre
jagrihe
Matsyam.
matsyam.
Chakshu shodadhi samplave.
Chakshusha
Chakshu
Udadi
sodadi
Samplave.
samplave.
Navi aropya mahimayam.
Navi
Navi
Aropya
aropya
Mahimayam.
mahimayam.
Apat vaivasvatam manu.
Apat
Apat
Vevas
vevaswatam
Vatam
manu.
Manu.
When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshus Manu and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Veshwaswat Manu, keeping him up on a boat. According to Sripad Sridhar Swami, the original commentator on the Bhagavatam, there is not always a devastation after the change of every Manu. And yet, this inundation after the period of Chakshush Manu took place in order to show some wonders to Satyavrat. But Sri Jeev Goswami has given definite proofs from authoritative scriptures like Vishnu Dharmottara Markandeya Puran, Hari Vamsha, etc. That there is always a devastation after the end of each and every Manu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has also supported Srila Jiva Goswami, and Sri Chakravarti has also quoted from Bhagavatamrita about this inundation after each Manu. Apart from this, the Lord, in order to show special favor to Satyavrat, a devotee of the Lord in this particular period, incarnated himself.
So, which incarnation is this? Form of a fish?
Matsya. Matsya.
Matsya. Yeah,
Matsya.
Matsya. And then it was after the period of which Manu?
Chakshusha.
Chakshusha Manu. Yeah, and this which Manvantara is going on now?
Vivasvat Manu. We are in the Vivasvat Manu.
Vaivast Manu, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting that Sripad Sridhar Swami, he is also a great acharya, commentator on Bhagavatam. He's saying that there is no this inundation after every Manu change. How many Manus in one day of Brahma?
40, no, 7 or
14.
14.
14. That's right.
No, 14.
So he's saying 14. Yeah, he's saying there is no inundation after every change, but inundation happened at this time when Manu Chakshusha was changing and to show wonders to Satyavrat. Satyavrat is a devotee of the Lord. But Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they're also great acharyas in our line and who have given commentaries. They are saying, yes, there is inundation always. So sometimes the great acharyas say the same, they might have certain differences in certain details, but they are not very important differences, you know. They all agree that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We need to engage in Harinam Sankirtan, engage in devotional service, hearing and chanting. These tiny details which are, you know, not very important. Sometimes there may be certain differences. Yeah. So, but Prabhupada is telling us, okay, that there are these slight differences in this viewpoint. So anyway, but the focus is that the Lord incarnated as Matsya to show mercy to Satyavrat, who is a devotee of the Lord. That is more important. So did anyone want to add anything else?
So this
comments?
Matsya avatar is the 5th incarnation.
It's written as it. So the earlier incarnation we read was 9th. So Matsya would be the 10th.
10th, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then we'll stop here for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening in and joining in. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.